Hey guys, it's been a while and I'm happy to be back here. This is my first video of the year and we are almost in April. It's been a rough start to the year and I apologize if they're actually my fans that didn't see me for a long time. Hopefully if I have any anyway. And I like to talk about issues on ground, what we are going through, the situation of the Nigerian state, and in that like I'm open to other topics that evolves about the reality of human, not political alone, situation of the Nigerian state, just like I mentioned earlier. So today it's good to be back, and I'll be talking majorly about the Nigeria 2023 presidential election that happened 2 months ago. Uh, Prior to the election, I wanted to drop a video addressing the situation of the presidential issues and a whole lot about the aspirants and all of that. And in my last video, someone brought an idea to me. Just like I said, I appreciate the feedback, saying I should talk, I should have an engagement, having a two persons conversation in the video to add more life and to the video. So I was planning that before the election, but a lot of other things came up and all of that. So basically, I'll be doing this alone still. It's going to be a solo video. So basically, prior to the presidential election, I am a big fan of Peter Obi. I'm a big fan of Peter Obi. And before the election, I said I stood with Peter Obi, but realistically, I felt with the political calculations, I felt Obi was not going to win the presidential elections because tactically, let's think about it. Obi was a PDP fan or was a PDP member. Apologies, I've been a big fan of football for a long time, so I tend to confuse it. Obi was a PDP member, a strong PDP member. Now, he wanted the presidential ticket for PDP, and unfortunately, he doesn't have the structure and the influence Atiku has in the party. So Atiku got it, and normally the ticket was supposed to come to South because that was the agreement they had years ago that this is actually the Southern time. The Southern time. So because of that, because of Atiku's selfish interest, Obi left. Now, the likes of Wiki and Obi had personal aspirations to become the president or to represent PDP in the presidential race. So after then, Obi left for Labour Party to actualize his aspiration. And don't forget, during this situation, other issues came up. The other issues of Kwankwaso came up. The issue of Ekiti State election came up. Ekiti State election in the sense that Fayose was trying to coordinate the gubernatorial election for PDP in Ekiti State. And because of this, Atiku, the national PDP were not sending money in because they knew Fayose was not spending it appropriately. So they were not sending money in, and all the national backups Ekiti PDP should get, they didn't get it because they know Fayose will not spend the money judiciously and how it's supposed to be spent. So because of that, and they realized that the person representing Ekiti for the PDP gubernatorial ticket was not people's mandate. It was literally imposed by Fayose, and they felt like there was a disconnection. So because of that, Atiku didn't show a full support from his gesture for the gubernatorial candidate from Ekiti State. So it was more like a Fayose show without too much backup. So because of that, Fayose had Atiku in mind because he didn't send him the resources he needed and some other national supporters. Now, Fayose later declared his support for the APC presidential candidate, who was Tinubu. Wike on the other side, there's an issue from the PDP as well. Wike from the other side, the Rivers PDP representative in Rivers, the governor, Wike, what everybody knows, had issues with Atiku as well. because the agreement was, just like I said before, the agreement was for the presidential ticket to be zoned to the south, but because Atiku got selfish, he won it through, the influence and the money, just like I said. And that on the other side didn't sit well with Wike. There were rumors that he also decided not to pick Wike for his Atiku, for his assistant or for his running mate, vice. Just pardon me, it's been a while, so just have to patch up a little bit. So because of that, their interests got divided. Because of that, Wike supported the APC presidential candidate. Okay, that is, then the G5, that is the governors from the southwest, they had a meeting, and the conclusion of their meeting was to support a southern agenda. It doesn't have to be Tinubu, but somebody from the south, which Labour Party falls in, Obi. So Autumn declared his support for Obi, but most of the governors from south supported Tinubu. The likes of they actually had to put the party interest aside. So people from other parties supported APC, and they had agreement of APC's the presidential aspirant of APC, if he wins, is going to support them in their own personal interest as well. People like Seyi Makinde to declare the support for Tinubu. All these things, they are not something that you come out to say, but you know from the gestures, from their actions and things they do, because they might be charged for anti-party, so they didn't actually come out. But there are things that if your political calculation is right, you will know. From this place, PDP started having the disadvantage. And on the side of Labour Party does not have a strong structure, in the sense that I will cite an example. I didn't dispute their influence. I didn't dispute how far and how they were able to really maneuver and pull a big stunt in Nigeria state. For example, I went to a town, a mini town in Ondo State. When I got there, it was actually a very small, let me say, village. I saw posters of PDP candidate Atiku. I saw that of Tinubu. I didn't see Labour Party. Couple of other towns I went to outside Ondo State too, it happened like that. All these things ranges from ward, and these are where the elections come from. Labour Party barely have offices. They hardly have how would I put it, executive in all those wards, in local government wards that represent them, because the financial resources is not even there. And they have been, PDP and APC, like, they have been the most influential parties from after the presidential, from the beginning of the Fourth Republic. So it is obvious that the PDP and the APC has the structure already. They penetrated every local government in the north. Unfortunately, I don't think they were able to penetrate the east well. So they've penetrated almost every ward and all the local governments. Practically, politics is being played from grassroots, and that is what you have to understand. The money, the structure to pull all these stunts were all in these mini local towns and all of that. But Labour Party only went to the capitals majorly, and they didn't really touch. They tried their best. I'm saying how it happened in the favor of APC. Now, PDP were getting divided already from Fayose, like I said, Wike, Seyi Makinde. PDP got divided already. So now, Labour Party, because of the structures they lack and all of that, they tried their best, but you cannot tell me 10 to 12 influential non-state actor in Labour Party. You get, and all of this matters, even though the people are the major determinants, but all of this matters in politics. And that's why I kept saying that politics is beyond your emotions, your feelings, what your preference is. It's about how the calculation works and how fast you think you can outsmart your opponent. Just like one of these calculations happened in the selection of the running mate for Tinubu. Before the selection, I felt he should be considerate, and he should probably pick a Christian northerner. Eventually, when he picked Shettima, who is a core Muslim northerner, I felt unpleased with that. But of course, I wasn't supporting Tinubu, so I didn't care. But later when I had the calculation, it was the most accurate thing, even though I was not pleased. Politically, he was the most accurate person he could pick, in the sense that he needed to penetrate north. Christians in the north are not seen as they are not seen like the pure northern person. A pure northern person sees a fellow Muslim to be somebody that shares the same ideology. But no matter how deep you are in the north and you are a Christian, they don't see you like you are really rooted for them. So if this calculation in order to please people online and what people will say, and it goes for a Christian northern, it won't be able to penetrate the north, knowing fully that Atiku, which was his major rival, is from the north, and not votes really, northern votes really determine the elections results in Nigeria. So he needed that penetration, and that made him pick a core northern person, and a core northern person has to be a Muslim. And that on the other hand showed the desperation of Atiku, because if you put the interest of the people in and what the people were going to think in a reasonable state, you are supposed to pick a vice who is a Christian because you are a Muslim, because from time there has been custom in the Nigeria politics, not like it is written in the constitution, but in order to accept every religion and every ethnic group, you put somebody that is running, like your running mate should be a total, like a different idea from your background, so everybody can work together. But politically and the mathematical calculation, the mathematical calculation, you needed somebody from there. They were opera after all of this, but eventually he penetrated the north. And another thing, where the votes of APC, how APC were able to influence the north a bit, was because of Kwankwaso. Kwankwaso, who happened to be the former governor of Kano, has a large support in the north for himself. Now, Atiku that was supposed to dominate the north because he came from the north, Kwankwaso divided the vote. Now there's a split in the votes, and Atiku was only able to win, I think, a state or two. I can't be precise about that. Too bad, I'm sorry. But the summary of the idea is he broke the votes that were coming from the north. Calculating all of this, APC had the upper hand. Now we have to talk about how this thing works. On the election day, Labour Party amassed much more votes than people thought. They had the influence people they were able to move the influence people didn't expect from them. And in places like Lagos, there were assaults from alleged APC supporters, where they realized they were not leading and all of that. APC people really attacked them. Some ballot boxes, smashed, and people being threatened if they come out to vote against them. And now Igbo people were being threatened because they know the alliance will probably be with Obi. These things were all wrong. Now, after the election too, there were issues of assault and all of the same things I said happened in Lagos in the east. But then people in Lagos or people in the southwest has more online influence than any other person in this country, no matter how much they try. So no matter the influence coming from the southwest dominates everything that happens on social media. Take it or leave it. So now the social media started influencing this, making it seem that they were the outburst and the assault and all of that happened only in Lagos. But there were similar stories, the same way the stories were coming out from Lagos. It was coming from the east. There were situations that were reported by INEC, but nobody wants to hear because they felt that the only people doing it wrong and assaulting people were the APC, because Lagos situations were more documented. There were eyes on Lagos and Abuja because they are the most powerful and the busiest states and capital states in Nigeria. So it got more attention than the ones that were happening in the east. Just like I said, APC and PDP have been the core parties in Nigeria, and they've been very relevant since the Fourth Republic. So you can't tell me that these eastern states, there's no way. And in all of these states, there are structures, there are ward chairmans, there are ward escorts in all of those local governments. And you tell me that those parties, the likes of PDP and APC, were not able to even get 4,000 votes in some of these states. This aligned, and some other evidence that came out So out of the how the elections were rigged and people were being attacked in the east, but all of these things trend the way it ought to. And to some news I heard, I didn't confirm how authentic it was, that a lot of evidence that happened how would I put it, that came up from the east were being conserved by the APC people, because if court issues comes up, they can use it to their defense and don't throw it open anyhow, the way Labour Party supporters have been all over the places and making their strength. But APC understood how to use the evidences in relevant place, not because of just to make the noise on social media. And that's why I felt like people were bringing their emotions in. Now, if tactically we think about this thing, APC was going to win. Labour Party did much more than people expected, because I felt it was a movement and people felt this was the change they needed. Now, I started having my doubts after the election, even though I voted for the person I stood with. After the election, I started having doubts because people could not suck it in. People got really angry that their preferred person didn't enter, which you are supposed to do your accurate calculations with these things and see how it goes. And and another thing is trying to paint Peter Obi a flawless person after the election and how he was being deprived. Now, Obi is as guilty as Asiwaju Tinubu of the assaults and the illegality during elections, even though the eastern ones were not well spoken. Okay? Were not well spoken. You get? So they are both guilty on that side. Obi, for example, has been a staunch supporter of PDP. This is the same person that won the gubernatorial election in Anambra through ABGA, and he said he was not going to leave because his higher desires. He went to PDP. Now imagine, and this was the same person that was the running mate of Atiku. Imagine Atiku emerged and won the presidential election against Buhari. This is the same person that has shared same opinion and same drive with Atiku for a long time. Now you pulled out of them because your selfish interest was not granted. Now you detach yourself, forming like you are way better than them. Practically they have to come out to say I'm better than them, I'm a saint. But from the gestures, from the things he was doing, saying I used the wristwatch for 17 years and all of these things were not needed. Coming out to portray him as if he's flawless, somebody tackled me a while ago, which I'm actually welcome to criticisms and different opinions, because you cannot always be correct, and that's why I make videos like this, to hear people's opinion and all of that. People tackled me that, okay, I said I preferred Obi, but I'm still tackling him because we have limited options, and out of the limited options, the person I felt that it will offer more to an effective government is Obi. But that doesn't make him a flawless person. That doesn't mean that he doesn't have his own flaws and his weakness. That doesn't mean that because I prefer him, I should now paint him as a flawless politician that is coming with the change. He has been part of the past governments that were part of this. There were so many stories about the SARS attack and all of that during his reign and all of it. But people stand on the points of where he really worked. When I want to talk about Obi, I talk about what he did. I talk about where he fucks up as well. You don't really talk about the good things and make you feel like he didn't do any wrong throughout. And this is how people have been painting him, and trying to, I think I'm talking too much and it's almost 20 minutes, but I feel and it's because it's been long, I really add this video and things like this, and that's why I felt like I needed an extensive conversation. And if I have my wish, I would probably go on and on and on and on, because the presidential, the post election issues is very wide and long, and very long. But I hope you get some few points from what I said, and I really wish you can get back to me personally through comments of your different opinion and ideas about how the election went, and you might have a very, very different opinion, and I'll be welcome to it. And now that we are back, today is 31st of March 2023. I'll be dropping another video very soon again, because it's been a while, it's been a long break, and I bless God that we are here, and I bless God for you too. Thank you very much. And I know data is very expensive, so I have to drop the video now. Thank you. God bless you. Ademola Farini, reporting live from It's Not Shining TV. I'm sure reporting live because I'm alive. Thank you.